Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our District 103 Senior Advisor Webinar Series. Our District 103 Senior Advisor Webinar Series, and I am your facilitator, Cassandra, Diva of Dialogue Lee. I am a past district director of District 103 Toastmasters. I say that I am a lifelong member of Toastmasters International because I've been here over 25 years. You will learn more about me as I facilitate this particular session. Let me walk you through some insight about this program, about the entire session. I want to make certain that I lay some groundwork for you in order to ensure that you have an awareness of what this program is all about. Therefore, let me give you the chance to know more information about this webinar series. This webinar series, you may have recognized, I mentioned this was the D103, standing for the District 103 Toastmasters. This is the D103 Senior Advisor Webinar Series. Well, where did that thought come from? It actually came from my thinking along with the former district director, Ivory Gwynn. When Ivory Gwynn was district director and Joe McCarty was program quality director and Greg Thompson was club growth director, we had this conversation about providing District 103 members with much more training than what we were able to provide in a given year. We know there's club officer training. We recognize that we do the TLIs, the Toastmasters Leadership Institute. We also knew that we were providing one annual conference at that time. However, we believed and we felt and we were observing that there was a need to provide more training in our district. And that's when everyone looked at me and said, hey, you are a trainer by trade. You train for a living. You go out there and you use your public speaking skills to teach education classes. You are the district's built-in trainer. Therefore, with you being a past district director and your wealth of knowledge, we think it would be good for us to create a senior advisor series. I was the one that brainstormed the webinar. I said, listen, I travel. Sometimes it's easier for me to be in whatever city and state I'm in, and I can lead the sessions through technology. And that's how we came about with the D103 Senior Advisor Webinar Series. After that initial conversation with that trio, as it has evolved over the years, every new district director and their trio team has allowed me to still use the idea of the D103 Senior Advisor Webinar Series to provide a collection of live webinar events. They cover a variety of topics. I make the attempt to focus on topics that can benefit our clubs, our club leaders, and our club members, such as membership growth, district leadership, club building, pathways. Although we have a very specific team for pathways, I focus every so often on pathways from a different perspective than the team might, because again, we want to infuse the district with as much education. We also don't want to duplicate efforts. Team building, conflict resolution, which happens to be one of my fortes, club quality, member retention, the DCP, the Distinguished Club Program, professional speaking, technical skills, and whatever else we may recognize is needed. Basically, the D103 webinar series brings in a multitude of topics that allow us to really support our members, support our leaders, even support our district leaders with making certain that they can become either more competent in their speaking skills, becoming more effective as a communicator, enhancing their leadership for their clubs as well as their careers. I like to do this session on a Sunday because I make the attempt not to be in the way of District 103. We have so much going on in the district. And I say, I don't want to be in the way of the district. Every district team has always said, this is a valuable program. However, they know we are short on time. There is so much that we're doing. Therefore, I do it on a Sunday. It works for my schedule. I do it on a Sunday because it doesn't conflict with any of the trio meetings, the area or division events, or even some of the club meetings as well. We make it 90 minutes. There, that way you can ask questions, you have the ability to explore the content more, and I make the attempt to make it as interactive as possible, and that way you can get the opportunity to receive answers to your questions. In a nutshell, that's what this program is all about. The D103 Senior Advisor Webinar Series is not necessarily for my benefit, yet it's for my benefit of exploring topics for you. Therefore, as we're moving through, if there are any questions that come to mind, put them in the chat box. If there are any questions that you want me to answer more immediately, I say use that reaction hand feature, that raised hand reaction icon, and I can give you the floor where you have the opportunity to speak. I know that I am recording this session as well, which means we have the opportunity to go back and listen to the information that we may need. Now that you have a better idea about the actual webinar series itself, let me give you some insight about me. I don't take for granted that everyone knows who I am. I also don't take for granted that everyone knows my background and why I'm the Yahoo in front of the room, if you will. I am the facilitator of this session. You heard the backstory about how the program came about. Yet, what you don't realize is that I am someone who has been really immersed in this idea of education and empowerment for a long time. Technically, it started when I was 6 years old when I discovered notebook paper. I evolved into becoming the family teacher, if you will. What I learned in school, I would take it in and I would come home and I would teach it out. I would have my brothers and my sisters as my pupils. They were my first classroom. That eventually evolved into my passion of teaching through speaking. That teaching through speaking passion has eventually led me to create my career as a professional speaker, corporate trainer, and a lifelong Toastmasters. My education and empowerment mission, I take that serious. I took it serious when I was working in corporate America as an administrative professional. I took it serious when I was working in corporate America as a manager. I took it serious being a part of Toastmasters. As you can tell, I even took it serious when I was teaching my brothers and sisters back when I was 6 years old. Education and empowerment is so important to me. And that's why I built my career around the concept of being able to use my passion of teaching through speaking to really enhance the education and empowerment. I've been around for over 25 years. Not quite look like it, but I'm getting up there. And I appreciate being able to get up there because I'm getting a lot more wisdom about this particular program, this program being Toastmasters International. I started at a corporate club. I was able to help revitalize that club. And eventually, when I left corporate America, I left that club. And I had eventually left Toastmasters for almost 2 years. I then got approached by a district leader who remembered my leadership abilities and thought it would be a great opportunity for me to assist the district in building clubs around the city of Chicago. I was approached to help build a brand new club at one of the Chicago public libraries. Well, I was fortunate enough to work with the Wrightwood Ashburn Chicago Public Library, and in 2003, we were able to start the conversation, start the demonstrations, provide the information for the Wrightwood Ashburn Overcomers WAYO Toastmasters Club to be born. WAYO is about to celebrate 19 years. We had the first conversation in 2003, yet we did not become an official club until 2005, which means in March of next year, we will become 19 years old. That's my home club. However, my work, my passion, my involvement with Toastmasters really started with a club in District 30, being a club leader at all levels, being an area governor at the time. Did you notice I used the word governor? That's how long I've been around. The terminologies have changed. I was a division governor twice for District 30. And then eventually I moved into the role of program quality director, and which after that I moved into the role of district director for District 103. Now, with all that has been done in my career, I've been evolving. I've been making certain that what I'm learning in Toastmasters, I'm putting it into practice in various ways. I have had articles that have appeared in District 103's newsletter. I've also had articles appear in the Toastmasters International newsletter, along with the American Management Association quarterly, meaning taking my speaking skills and parlaying them into writing skills is something that I've done, including with the Leadership Legacy series that I created specifically for club members and club leaders and district leaders as well. Been around for some time. I mentioned I am a distinguished Toastmaster. I've been around long enough to earn at least two of those. I am also about to earn a third one within the next 12 months, which means I'm putting into practice communication development, public speaking development, and leadership development that this organization provides me with. Furthermore, this organization has, of course, appreciated my involvement, and I've been the recipient of a few different awards from the District 103 District of the Year, or District Toastmaster of the Year award, I should say. One of my favorites is receiving the Program Quality Award, and that was the Excellence in Program Quality Award from when I was Program Quality Director for District 30. And most recently, although I didn't receive it officially, I got recognized, and it was an honor to be nominated for a presidential citation back in 2022. I appreciate the president, the acting president of International at that point, saying, hey, listen, it was a tough choice. Although we may not have awarded you this opportunity, we're so grateful to you. And I appreciate them being grateful for me because I am grateful for this organization. Toastmasters has definitely given me a platform in which to grow as a communicator, to grow as an author, to grow as someone who's out there using my skills, writing and speaking, creating courses, even associate producing a movie just last year. I received a literary honor award, again, taking the communication skills, expanding them into writing. And my very first solo published book is now an international literary award recipient. But I'm not done. I'm not done. All of that speaking that I've done, all of the training and practice that I do here in this organization has equipped me to earn certifications with eSpeakers and SkillPath. Yet I'm not done because I don't yet have the accredited speaker certification. And that's my goal. That's what I'm focused on next as I'm out sharing, teaching, facilitating at both the club level, the district level, the international level, as well as for my career, because now that is around the world. So those are some key details about the session, how this program came about me as the facilitator, what's going on with me, why I'm doing this. And now we are positioned to be able to really dive into what this particular session is about. You know that this is a session that is really about discovering your SWOT. Discovering your SWOT by using the Toastmasters International dashboard. You're going to have an opportunity to explore the Toastmasters International dashboard, which is officially called the Distinguished Performance Reports. You're also going to have an opportunity in which to discover more information about your clubs based on the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in which you may notice from your club. Since I know that we are going to be talking about the SWOT, I want to make certain that I put in the chat box for you an actual handout that you can use as we do our exploration and discovery. If you are able to download that handout or access that handout, simply provide me with a thumbs up. That will let me know that you were able to receive the actual documents and that it is working as far as a download. Perfect. Thank you for those thumbs up that are coming in. As that is happening, I'm going to make certain that I mention questions. As I'm moving through, if there's any question that you find comes to mind, feel free to ask via the chat box. You can also use the raised hand reaction icon that will assist as well. I know one of the additional housekeeping ideas that I have from time to time is that we are on camera. Typically, if we can be on camera, I know many times people join me for this session or for this event and they are moving about, they're in transit, it many times is difficult to be on camera. Therefore, it's okay if the camera is not on. And for the sake of recording, many times I turn my camera off as well, just to make certain that when I'm recording the information, I'm not a distraction and my gallery view is not a distraction either, as I'm still learning how to record in Zoom as I facilitate. Therefore, if you see that I have disappeared off camera, know that it won't be a glitch unless you don't hear me. Using the raised hand reaction icon feature is something that I did mention, yet we also have the chat box as well. You can ask any question that comes to mind. It will be easier to put the phrase question in front of your question in order to make certain that my eyes can quickly see what's there. And of course, there will be some downloads. I have the download inside of the chat box, which I will be putting in the chat box from time to time, as I know that some individuals will be coming in at different points and they will need to have access to the chat box as well. And finally, remember, this webinar is being recorded. Therefore, if there are any questions that you ask, it is there for eternity, basically. Make it a good question because someone will learn from your question in the future. Speaking of questions, let me do a quick spot check. Are there any questions for me? Are there any questions for me? Again, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to put them in the chat box. You can use the raised hand reaction icon to ask the questions. Yet if you don't have any questions, you can let me know in the chat box that you are all good. And as you put in the chat box your information, I am going to put in the chat box the handout for the session. Great. Good, good. As we move through the review of the TI dashboard, I will make certain that I pause enough in order to get questions answered. Yet it is time for us to actually move into our review of the chat box, or not the chat box, of the dashboard. Chat box came up and first thing I see is that. Let me make certain I adjust here. Let's see here. Good, good. Awesome. Yes, I am talking myself through this information here. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to actually take myself off camera at this point because I, again, don't want that distraction of the videos in my way. I am moving through some adjustments with my screens. And I believe now I have a free environment in which to see. Give me, if you can, a thumbs up if everything looks good on your end. Awesome. All right. Now that we are all set, let me make certain that I mention to you a real important component of the Toastmasters International website. In order to access the details regarding the dashboard, you want to make certain that you have been signed in. Where it says my name, welcome, Cassandra, that means that I have logged into the website. You want to make certain that you are logged in with your email address and your password in order to access the information on the Toastmasters International Distinguished Performance Reports, also nicknamed the dashboard. Once you are logged in, you'll go to My Home. My Home is a place where you have the opportunity to actually go to base camp and the learning hub, the achievement boards. If you are a club or a district officer, Leadership Central will give you access to whichever portal that you have access to based on your role. So that is typically the next section, Leadership Central. And then you have the section called From the Organization. And this is where they provide you with such portals as meeting tools and how to renew, the leader letter, a new feature called Yodlee, and finally, the Distinguished Performance Reports. This is the dashboard. As a member, when you log in and you come inside again your home, you scroll to the Distinguished Performance Reports, and that's when you're able to access information that looks similar to this. Ah, it looks like a lot of overwhelming information, doesn't it? Don't get discouraged though. Here is what I appreciate about this page. They have two key features that allow you, besides scrolling, it allows you to find information quickly. The first area is the club search. You put in your club's number, you click search, your club information will come up quickly. You can also search by district. If you are a district area director, a district trio member, a district division director, or any district leader, you can search by district here. For fun, I'm simply going to the dashboard for District 103, which, by the way, gives you information about all of the clubs in District 103, organized first by division, then by area, then by club based on club number, and each of the divisions, which divisions are 5 in District 103, meaning we have Division B with 4 areas, Division C with 4 areas, Division F with 4 areas, along with Division G, also with 4 areas, and then Division S with 4 areas. If you ever, as a member, hear the reference to a division by a letter, that's where the letters are coming from. Districts are typically organized by divisions. Divisions typically have letters. And then the areas are categorized by numbers. And I was saying we have 4 different areas, which means that area B or area 11 is in Division B, but area 22 is in Division C based on the fact that the first division in District 103 is 1 or is Division B. So Division B is considered the first division. Division C is considered the second. Division F really should be considered the third. But remember, we came from District 30. And when we came from District 30, Division F was actually one of the divisions that had areas that were in the 8 category. And we simply just kept the numbering. We kept the lettering for the division as well because it was easier that way. Division G would be similar to that. And then Division S. Yeah, no, somewhat convoluted as far as the ordering doesn't really seem like it's logical. Yet simply know that we have 5 divisions in District 103. Division B, Central South Division. Division C, Central North Division. Division F is known as Central East Division. Division G is known as Central West Division. And then the division of S is known as the South Division. From time to time in this district, you will hear both letters as well as phrases being used to define the divisions, and then you'll simply have the letters to go along with the different areas and divisions. Oh, you're quite welcome for that. Yeah, that explanation for the numbering you were going to ask. Absolutely. The numbering isn't quite fully logical because if we think about it, depends upon the growth of the district actually, what the district may have started with. And then as the district started to grow, they started to add on divisions and then they started to add in areas in those divisions. Therefore, that's why B, C, F, G, and S has a 5, but G has a 9. And I'm talking about what their area numbers are. It was based on the growth of the district at various times. Similar to the clubs, some clubs only have 4 digits. And when I say 4 digits, we typically, if you have multiple zeros before your number, we don't usually say that you are 00003731. No, we only say 3731. Well, districts with 4 digits or 3 digits, they've been around for a long time. Districts with 8 numbers or 9 numbers, they are newer districts. Therefore, when you're an area director or division directors and you're wondering what's going on with these numbers, Toastmasters International puts zeros before club numbers for the number of digits that are needed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, I wanted to count, simply make sure that 8 digits were always the case. And therefore, you're able to know what your number is. You can remove those zeros and you can double check the last 4, 5, or 6 numbers. I'm looking at the question. This is a great question. Who named the divisions with the letters international or our district leaders? Combination of the two. A combination of the two. With District 103 being a 7-year-old district that came from District 30. District 30, when I was program quality director, had 9 divisions. Based on the boundaries of both districts, primarily based on the boundaries that were establishing District 103, meaning geographical boundaries. That's how we knew which clubs were coming into District 103 versus the clubs that were staying in District 30. Those geographical boundaries were the key indicator. Whatever the district's names were at that time, or whatever the division names were, I should say, whatever the division names were and area names were at that time, we didn't necessarily change those. We simply brought those divisions with us. Division G, I want to say, is newer for District 103. I believe we may have created Division G. We may have created Division G in 2018, 2019, maybe 20. No, I think I'm wrong on that. Division G feels like it's newer. For some reason, I'm short-circuiting in my memory on exactly when that came about. It's a newer division for us. That's a great question about how the divisions got named. And I want to, if I'm remembering correctly regarding Division G ended up having its name based on the fact that all of the divisions were labeled with letters, and that was a letter that was not yet represented. And that's how Division G got its name. We already had an A, a B, a C, a D, an E, and an F division. Then we had an S division. We had a W division for the West division, I believe. We had an N division for North. And I'm just simply thinking back when we were District 30 with those 9 different divisions. Division G wasn't yet represented, and instead of being at the end of the alphabet, it went closer back to the beginning of the alphabet to see where the letterings were not yet represented with the naming. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Division G, especially Division G, Area 93. Shout out to all of you. Absolutely. Yes, and that is a wonderful recognition because that particular area used to make up the first area of the S division. The S division at some point used to have 7 areas. Now the district is small enough where the S division has 4 areas, just like all of the other divisions. Growth of a district is really what influences what we call here on this page alignment, the alignment. As I mentioned the phrase alignment, I see, ooh, Union League Toastmasters. Now, that is a name, it's a blast from the past. It had been a club before when we were District 30. It was a club when we were District 103 in the beginning, and then they faded out. It looks as if they are now coming back. And what you will notice here, it says that they were chartered. Oh, look at that. They're a brand new club. They just got chartered less than 30 days ago, and their alignment is pending. What that means is, based on geographical location, this club will at some point appear in one of these areas, in one of these divisions within this district. Now, I would imagine it will not be in the South Division. Union League Club is a club that is in the downtown area of Chicago, which we know that Division B, Division C, and Division F, with part of Division G covering the loop, the West Loop, the South Loop, as well as the downtown area. It'll be interesting to see which area and division Union League Club goes into. Yet that's what happens here when we talk about alignment, and you'll hear alignment as a term. Let me know, and you can give me a yes in the chat box or a no in the chat box. Have you ever attended a district council meeting before? A district council meeting. District council meetings are typically the places where you hear the idea about alignment. Good. I see some individuals have actually been a part of a district council meeting. Yes, district council meetings, especially in April, or in our case, I say April because as a district, that is typically when we do our annual conference. At the annual conference is usually when the districts are discussing the alignment of their districts. Alignment is in relations to the growth of a district, meaning the number of clubs that have come into a district, as well as the number of clubs that have closed down. Any clubs that we lose, we want to align divisions and areas with the ability to compensate for that loss. Therefore, the goal is make the attempt not to lose a club at all, yet make the attempt to also build as many clubs as possible. So that's an idea, that's a thought, simply because we know Toastmasters International has some guidelines about the number of divisions, the number of areas, the number of clubs within areas and divisions, and so on and so forth. If you don't ever have to deal with an alignment, you won't retain any of this information, and that's perfectly all right. Yet those of us that have been in district leadership for some time, we tend to eyeball that information because it really is important for the growth of the club. And I have to tell you, as the first district director of District 103, I am always eyeballing this information whenever I get the opportunity to take a look and see how are we doing. And I see we started the year with 89 clubs as a base, and that's the number that we ended the year with last year. Right now, we have 74 clubs to date, which means we have some growth to do as far as building clubs. And this is some information that you'll get the opportunity to look at for your club in particular. I put in the chat box a moment ago the handout because I want to make certain that I give you an idea of what you're going to be looking for. Let me do this. South Loop Speak Freaks is who I see first. Let me type in their club number. And I want to look at the club perspective as opposed to the district perspective right now. I love the questions that came in. We don't get the opportunity to really talk a lot about the alignment of a district and how areas and divisions come about. Therefore, I'm glad that this review of the dashboard gave you that insight. Now let's move into the insight regarding clubs. I recognize this may not be your club. However, here's the assignment that's going to happen. I am going to give you the chance to do what I did a moment ago. I want you to go into the Toastmasters International dashboard, log in with your email and your password. Go to your profile, or not your profile, my home, click that. Once it opens up, scroll down to the leadership area where you can access the distinguished performance reports. It will take you to the initial page that we were on where I say, oh, it looks like a lot of information, but don't get overwhelmed because you can search for what you're looking for. The beauty for you, once you get on that home page of the distinguished performance reports, you will actually use the club search feature. Type in your club number, click search, and your club's dashboard page will appear. You're going to see alignment. You're going to learn which region your club is in, which district, which division, as well as area that your club is in. The next thing you will observe will be membership information. What's your base? That's the number of members your club had before last year ended, or when last year ended, I should say, on June 30th, 2023. Whatever your membership number was on that particular day, that is your base number. Then, to date, how many members do you have and what's required? They will let you know what will be required in order for you to appear to either have 20 members or a net growth of 3. Final area up top will be goals. How many goals has your club met thus far? Now, when they mention goals, they're referring to the Distinguished Club Program. The beauty of Distinguished Club Program is that's this section here. All of this information, all 10 of these areas represent the 10 goals of the Distinguished Club Program, or the DCP. Depends upon how many goals are met. You'll see a corresponding check mark to give you an indication as to which of the goals have been met. And it lets you know that if you achieve 5 of those goals, 7 of those goals, or 9 of those goals, what your club will be distinguished, or how your club will be listed as distinguished. Therefore, the more goals that your club can achieve in the DCP, the higher the recognition that your club will receive. Now, something else that will be important here in the DCP area, you're going to notice that it tells you the goals that you are striving toward having. And these are basically the goals that the DCP, or the Distinguished Club Program from Toastmasters International, is saying that your clubs are working toward accomplishing. The to date column lets you know which of the goals you're making progress towards and which of the goals you still have yet to accomplish. Therefore, if you see a statement in the status column, that statement in the status column is giving you a brief overview of what more you have left to accomplish. If it's achieved, the check mark is there. That's a quick overview of what I want you to find out first. What I am going to do is give you the opportunity to have what I call a few minutes of silence without hearing my voice. And I am actually going to put on a timer. That way you have some time to really focus, do some click-throughs, write some notes, have the information for your review. Now, as you are answering the handout and the various sections, there will be some thoughts that will come to mind regarding your club's SWOT, meaning the strengths of your club, the weaknesses of your club, the opportunities for your club, and the threats for your club. The SWOT, S-W-O-T, S-W-O-T, SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's what I'm going to give you an opportunity to discover as you explore. How much time will I give you? I am going to provide at least 10 minutes of complete silence. That way you have the opportunity, as I said, to explore the site, click through information. And if you want to also determine how your club has done in the past, which is a great feature here, simply use the drop down box where the date or where the year is, where it says 2023, 2024. When you click the drop down arrow, it'll give you the list of the years. If you go anywhere beyond 2017, 2018, you will then start to see the progress of your club when it was in District 30. 2017, 2018 was the first year of District 103. Therefore, anything above 2017, 2018, you will see how your club has been performing as a part of District 103. Two different views, if you will, yet all data that you can see from the past. Therefore, if things are looking a little bleak right now with your club and you only see that you have one goal, you might find there are certain reasons why that's happening as you analyze the data, yet you can also do a historical check and see what you did in 2019, 2020. And let's see, their number I think was 7071. I don't think I got that right. I know I didn't get that right. Let me go back here. Okay, and you might notice that I'm doing something different here. What did this do? 2019. I just like clicking through. If I don't end up in the place where I need to, I just click, click, click. The great thing is you cannot break this. 70, 79. I knew I was getting a digit wrong. 70, 79. There we go. 2019, 2020, 5 goals achieved. That's a historical perspective. And here's something that's also interesting. Based on the date that we are in, the system automatically is reading approximately this time that year. This is what your club was doing. So you get a rough estimate as to where your club may have been at this time 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, or even 1 year ago. Depends upon what you chose. I just simply randomly went through the list, selected the year, and picked out 2019, 2020. Have fun with this. See what you discover. As I said, I'm going to give you 10 minutes of complete silence, give you the opportunity to explore for yourself. And when we're done with that exploration and discovery, we will then come forth with any thoughts, any comments, any questions. Before, though, I become silent and pause the recording, let me touch bases and make certain I ask, are there any questions for me before we get started with the exploration and discovery? If so, feel free to use the chat box to share your question. You can also use your microphone as well. If, however, you are all set and ready to go, just give me a thumbs up reaction icon, and that will be my signal that we can go ahead and start the exploration and discovery. Perfect. All right, everyone. I'll put from time to time timer reminders in the chat box. That way you'll know how much time we have remaining. Enjoy your exploration and discovery. See you back in 10.